here. All right. So, how to create a six-figure business from a $30 product. Now, we're making up the business, but this is an actual doctor's business idea. And, so we're going to talk about that. And everything I'm going to show you, I want you to look at this with an open mind. I want you to look at this from the mindset of possibility. Don't go like, oh, but, don't do that. Just open up and think and work with me. Everything I show you will be simple. It will not be easy, but it is simple. Okay. And this is just going to be fun. So as we go along, post your, aha moments in the comments and all of those. I'll get to the comments in a bit. Okay. All right. So here we go. Now, if we have not met before, my name is Dr. Una. I am the founder of EntreMD, and, a little bit of background. I started off, graduated from pediatric residency, started my practice 15 months out. Did not know I enrolled in the School of Hard Knocks because I knew nothing about entrepreneurship. And as an introverted introvert, I was terrified of everything that would make a business work. Everything I'm going to talk about today, I was terrified of doing. And, I got to learn. And I got to see that, business, we learned hard things and we can learn business things as well. And I got to help that business to thrive. And after that, I was like, wait a minute, there are a lot of Dr. Unas out there who are struggling like I was struggling. And that's when EntreMD was born. Now, it sounds like a 2-minute story, but this took, a number of years. But that's when it was born. So I host the EntreMD podcast, all about keeping doctors inspired and opening their eyes to see what's possible. I am the founder of the EntreMD Business School, where we're going to be having an amazing session right after this. And I just love doing that because I believe in doctors. I believe that we have what it takes to build careers that we love. We live in weird times where, we have doctors going through all kinds of things, being devalued in the workplace, not having a seat at the table, not having a voice. Needing to finding themselves unemployed, residents who are done with their training, not being able to find jobs, practices closing by the hundreds, others being bought out by hospitals. And even when we try to embrace entrepreneurship, we're told you're a clinician, not an MBA. And I say we can have both. And that's why we have EntreMD. That's Entrepreneurial MD. So we got this. So that's me. And, this kind of stuff makes me excited. All right. Okay. So this is my thought. Every physician is walking around with a multiple six-figure idea. And truthfully, the number is 7 figures. But once I have a number of 7-figure students from the EntreMD Business School, I will change my quote. Okay? All right. So this is Dr. D's business. Okay? This is it's not hypothetical. This business exists. Okay. So this is not hypothetical, but this is the business. So it's a shea butter product for natural hair. And if you have some other business idea, just plug it in there. Okay. I picked this because, it's $30. It's, like you may not think it's a big thing, right? This is not complicated. Okay, so it's $30 per 8-ounce bottle. Cost of production is about $6 per bottle. So this is the business idea that we're working with. So the question is this profitable? Can we make money from it? Or is this just one of those things that will be a hobby and you can't do anything with it? All right, so I came up with a number of things that Dr. D could do, okay? And we're just going to take it step by step. We're going to take it month to month. We're not going to make this complicated. So the first thing she does, right? So she has the shea butter and she's already made it. She already has an audience. Everybody has an audience. And if you're live, I want you to type in the chat, I have an audience. Okay? I want you to type that there. I have an audience. Okay? Her current audience would be her friends and her family. Okay? A number of them will have natural hair, or they know people who have natural hair they can gift it to. And there's a bit of a social media following, right? So if you're posting these things on Instagram or TikTok or any of those, there are people who will buy it, right? So the question is, in the first month, if you talk to your friends and family and you are posting about it every day, could you sell 50 of those? And the answer is yes, okay? Is it the easiest thing to do? Maybe not. Is it possible? Yes. Is it simple? Yes. So let's say she does 50. And so that's 50 times 30. That gives you 1,500. You're like, Dr. Una, we're talking 6-figure business here. What is 1,500 going to do? Hang on. This is month 1. Okay. So month 1, this is what Dr. D did. And we've come to where we've brought this business to 1,500 a month. Okay. So that's the first month. Now, the second month, Dr. D adds on speaking. So notice I say adds, which means we don't throw away the first strategy, which is friends and family and social media. But we add this, we add speaking. And let's say for this doctor, she's tried different platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of these, and TikTok is kind of her jam. Okay, let's say that's the case. And then she's speaking, but not just talking randomly, but she's speaking strategically to grow her business. So she picks things like doing demos, right? So it's shea butter for natural hair. So she's, styling her own hair in the morning, showing how she uses the product, showing the before and afters, all those kind of things, right? Now, remember, in month one, she had served friends, family, and all of that stuff. So some of them give her testimonials, and those testimonials, she features that on her platform. And then she also gives tips, right? So this is what you do with natural hair. What does that do? It's positioning her as the authority, right? So this is how you apply it correctly. This is the kind of bonnet to use for your hair at night. These are some hair preserving techniques, whatever. But she's just giving tips, and she can even have funny lines like, "Now, no matter the tips I tell you, remember the standing tip that you must do every day is use XYZ shea butter," right? And that could be the thing, but you have tips, and that way you don't run out of content, right? Because there's the demo, there's the testimonials, there's the tips, and you can keep going on and on and on. And the more you do that, the more people will say, yes, that is just the way this stuff works. So let's say she dominates TikTok or she dominates Instagram, whichever. She's doing these videos, right? So people see her, they associate her with the shea butter, they associate her with all things natural hair, all those kind of things. And let's say because she was diligent, she was doing a video every other day. And when I say this, you can go like, oh my gosh, how does someone do a video every other day? I mean, you have natural hair. You're already doing stuff. You're already thinking stuff. Just say it on video, right? All right. So she's doing this every other day. And let's say because of that, the friends, family, their friends, and the people who bought from social media came to 100. Okay. So that means second month, we're at 3,000. Okay, so we're at 3,000 a month. And you're like, Dr. Una, you're talking about a six-figure business here. I know, okay? Big things start little. Let's go, okay? So she did this, and she's at 3,000. 3,000 brings you to 36,000 a year, okay? All right. So the third month, now notice I'm packing these on month by month. So it's not like a business that, she has to quit her job or, she has to get all bent out of shape. She has to lose all balance with her family. It's not like that. Okay. All right. So month three. Now, month three, if you look, I said add. So we already had leveraging the existing audience. We have speaking. So those keep going, right? And we add referral sources. So let's say, she got to talk to some hairdressers, and these hairdressers are people who take care of natural hair. And she's like, hey, I want you guys to be like affiliates for me. And affiliates would get 10 to 15% for products. But let's say you're generous and you're like, they get 5%, right? Not 5%. Yeah, 5%. They get more than that. They get $5 for each one. So to the people, you're selling it for 30. For the hairdressers, you're giving it to them at 25. Okay. And let's say with your personal sales, you kept it the same. So it's the same $3,000 like the month before. And you added 5 referral sources, and they didn't sell a whole ton. They just sold 20, right? That gives you an extra $2,500 a month. And that brings your total revenue to $5,500 a month. Okay. All right. Hi, Dr. Ua. All right. So far, if you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. Let me know in the chat. Okay. Let me know in the chat, in the comments. All right. So 5,500, that's where we are. Are we at 6 figures? No. But are we making progress? Yes. Okay. All right. Now, the fourth month, you're like, I don't want to add anything new. I just want to do more of the things that are working. Okay. So you take the strategies from the first 3 months and you just do them a little bigger, right? So let's say your personal sales, because, when you show up to talk about your product, now remember, you may not have a product-based business, but these principles still apply. I picked this on purpose so you can see how the hobby you have, like my sister makes eczema cream for her kids, right? And it's a hobby. but that hobby, you know what I mean? Like that can be monetized if you want to, right? We talk about multiple streams of income if you want to. So let's say you consolidate, right? And you're staying consistent with doing your videos. You're staying consistent, with making the ask. And the thing about it is that over time, it snowballs. That's what ends up happening, right? It's not like every week you're starting afresh. You've built an audience. The more you show up consistently, the bigger your audience gets. The more consistently you show up, the bigger your audience gets. So let's say you just stay consistent with showing up, doing your videos every other day and all that kind of stuff. And you grow your personal sales, so meaning from friends, family, social media, to 150, okay? So that puts you at 4,500 a month. And you grow your referral sources from 5 to 10, and they're still doing 20 products a month. So that puts you at 9,500 a month. 9,500 a month, which is not bad. Right? Because if that were 10K, that's 120 grand a year over a 12-month period. So can you build a 6-figure business out of this thing? Yes. Okay. All right. So let's go one more step. Okay. All right. So strategy number 5, you add collaboration. Now, this is where things can go like completely whoo, right? Okay. So collaboration. So that means you reach out to people who serve audiences that are made up of your ideal client, right? But you guys are not in competition. Okay, you guys are not in competition. So for instance, if I had a podcast that was catered to women who, women of color who are all about health and wellness and holistic health and all that kind of stuff, someone doing that may be talking to them more about diet and exercise and self-care and all that. They're not necessarily selling them a product. So I would be happy to have you on my podcast, right? Because it's the same audience. You would serve my people, but we're not in competition. All right. That makes sense? Okay. So whether it's YouTube, podcasts, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, but this is with people. So in this case, right, this is the shea butter for natural hair. So you have audiences of women of color. This is from CEOs to stay-at-home moms to teenagers, like whatever. These are all your people, right? And you go collaborate with them. So you can do a YouTube Live with them. You can do a Facebook Live with them. You can do any of those things. And what happens is each time you show up, your audience grows. Now, you might say, that's too much. Okay. I'm going to give you an example. The founder of Meet Edgar, which is like a social media scheduling service, just like Hootsuite or Buffer, she grew her company from 0 to 4 million in 2 years. All right, 0 to 4 million in 2 years. One of her biggest strategies was podcasting, and she does not own a podcast. Okay, she was doing 10 to 20 podcast interviews a month, putting herself in front of audiences that are filled with her ideal clients. 10, actually, if you can, type that in the chat for me, okay? Type that in the comments. 10 to 20 podcast episodes a month. That's what she was doing, and that's how she grew her business, all right? So collaboration is powerful. You have the power to build your own audience, but with collaboration, it's exponential growth. It's not addition. It's like really wild, okay? All right, so let's say, month 5, this was the focus. The focus was this because at this point, we have proof of concept. We have a lot of testimonials. We have a lot of raving fans. We have an audience. We have something we can offer whoever we're collaborating with so we can create a win-win situation. And this is what you did, okay? So let's say when you did this, that the sales you made from, personal sales, referrals, all that from last month, it stays the same. So it's 9,500. And then every time you went out to do one of these things, you made 20 sales. So let's just say, okay, I think Dr. D is doing pretty good. So that gives you an extra 80 sales a month, an extra 2,400. And that brings the total revenue to 11,900. Okay. So what do you guys think? Post in the chat. And over the course of a year, 11,900 comes to $142,800. And I think that is nothing to sneeze at, which means you have something, your shea butter, in your house that can grow to be six figures if you can pull this off, right? So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? How many of you want to be Dr. D? Okay. And this could be anything, right? I picked a $30 product just to show you this really could be anything. Okay. All right. So, and now we didn't even talk about, because this again, you can grow it to be $1 million thing. To which you may be like, Dr. Una, like, no, you can't do that. It's a $30 product. But I want you to think, okay, Carol's daughter, she started making her products from her kitchen. That's where she started. And then she started selling them at flea markets. But she sold it to L'Oreal for north of mid eight figures. We don't know the actual number, but they said north of mid eight figures. So your guess is as good as mine. But I say that's a good payday, right? So don't make the assumptions that your ideas are not valid. Don't make the assumptions that you can't build something. Like, you can. And you might say, well, there are not many Carol's daughters out there, but they're a good number. And if you think about it, we're doctors. We've defied a lot of odds to get to where we are. So why not you, right? And if you're thinking, why not you, type why not you in the chat. Like, why not you? So anyway, imagine we have said nothing about Facebook ads, right? So what if we had an ad budget for this that we threw at it, and that was creating a whole other stream of sales? What if we had upsells, right? Like, what if she said, you can either buy the shea butter on its own, or you can buy my signature, my signature regimen, right? Dr. Yinka Skin is a student at EntreMD Business School, and she has a skincare line. And she could have done, just the sunscreen or just the retinol, but she has the sunscreen, she has the retinol, she has the vitamin C, and she has the glycolic acid wash, and it's one product. She calls it the Vital 4. That's an upsell, right? Like, so you can have that, which means for each person you make more, you can have a subscription where it's not a one-off thing. Like, why? You're going to need one of these every month. So we put you on a subscription. Every month it gets mailed to you, right? We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about leveraging influencers, because imagine, people who are very influential in the diversity space, and you're coming to talk about, taking care of their hair as opposed to them having to have perms and all this kind of stuff. Imagine what one big stage will do for your business, right? It was, I forget her name, but she sold her company to L'Oreal as well. And her big thing, her big break was her brand went on QVC, and that was the end. She sold her company for over $1 billion. I mean, with a B. You know what I'm saying? So leveraging influencers. And we didn't talk about scaling the personal sales, the referrals, because we talked about 10 referral sources, right? But think about the number of people who take care of natural hair. Think of if that was 50. Think of if that was 100. And people have used these strategies to build $1 million businesses. So think about scaling the personal sales, scaling the referrals, scaling the collaboration. If you do this, then, I mean, that's just wild. So you see that something like shea butter that so many people can even make at home if they want, you can take that product, and if you apply business principles to it, you can make it a six-figure, multiple six-figure, and seven-figure business. You can. Okay? All right. So how would you like? How would you like to have an extra $11,900 a month? It's doable. How would you like that? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Okay. All right. So let's look at the skills that Dr. D needed to pull this off. Okay. What are the skills that she needed? One of them is selling. And, that when I started off as an entrepreneur, this was like a cuss word. This was like a really bad word. But you can't grow a business without selling. Okay. And selling is not bad. Bad selling is bad, but there's good selling. Okay, so selling would be something that she would need to learn because she'll do a lot of it. Speaking, And not just randomly speaking, but speaking is a skill. Speaking to grow a business is a skill. I was at a conference and Russell Brunson, the co-founder of ClickFunnels, was there as one of the speakers. And in front of us, during a 90-minute presentation, he did $1.3 million in sales in a 90-minute presentation. Right? Now, I'm saying that to say there's a skill to this stuff, right? There's a skill to this stuff, and it can be learned. It can be learned. Networking, which for me personally, that was another bad word. Like, I don't want to network with anybody. But if you're going to grow a business, then networking is a skill to acquire. Notice that these are all skills, okay? If you think about it, you're a physician, you're good at acquiring skills, okay? You do spinal taps, you do intubations, you do knee replacements, you do, reduction of joints that are out of place. I mean, you do all kinds of amazing stuff. You do central lines. You can learn these skills too, okay? All right, number 4, collaboration. Collaboration, not competition. Collaboration, not I will do it by myself. Collaboration, not I don't want to bother anybody. Collaboration, okay? This is one of those things, when they say your net work is your net worth, it is true. It is true. It matters who you can build relationships with. It matters who you can build your businesses with. This is a skill that needs to be learned. And I know I'm using shea butter. It doesn't matter if it's a private practice. It doesn't matter if you're a coach. It doesn't matter if you do medical device. It doesn't matter. Collaboration matters, okay? And of course, the mind management, right? Because in business, like anything else, there will be times when things will go wrong. There are times where things will look like they're not working. There are times where you're putting in a lot of work, especially in the beginning, you're putting in a lot of work and it doesn't seem like you're getting a lot out, right? And you need to be able to be calm through all of these and not quit and stuff like that. So there's a lot of mind management that goes into that, okay? All right. So then what's the problem? I mean, like if we only need those 5 skills, then what's the issue here? Okay. So the problem is, let me use the version of me 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago with my first business, terrified of talking to friends and family. Like I would not admit to them that I was doing a business. Like what? Right? So terrified of talking to friends and family, don't know how to speak to grow a business, right? Because it's different as doctors. We love educating and we love giving information. But when you're speaking for transformation, it's a little different, right? It's a little different than that. Okay. Don't know how to leverage social media for business. My mantra is I come on social media to serve. I come onto social media as an entrepreneur. I would sometimes play around with funny cat videos, but Mark Zuckerberg comes on there for business, so must I. Okay, so not in an out of balance kind of way, but if you're going to be on there and you have a business, you might as well grow your business. The 4th one is mind drama around money, asking for money. Like it's so weird. Like after, I'm a 6-figure, multiple 6-figure earner and I'm asking people for money. That's bad. It means I'm greedy. There's just a lot of drama around it. And that's a problem. And then with collaborators, you have to know how to create a win-win situation. Like they are so, for instance, if you go on a podcast, right? It should be win-win. It shouldn't be that you went on there and sold your stuff. It should be that you served their audience. It should be that you made the person you're collaborating, you made their job easier. It should be you left a great taste in their mouth. It should be that they can't wait to get you back, right? And it should grow your business. It should be a win-win situation. So maybe you don't know how to do that, right? Maybe you don't know, maybe you're just brash and you go on there and you sell your stuff, or you go and you're really nice and you don't sell your stuff. You have to create a win-win. That's the way it works in business. And then the 6th one is you know what you should do, right? And you just can't bring yourself to do it. You know what you should do. You know that you should go out there and make your ask. You should go on social media and you should show up consistently for your business there. You know that you should be a guest on other people's platforms. You should be speaking. You should be building referral sources, but you just can't bring yourself to. You don't have the motivation to do it, right? So, but the bottom line is that you can be next. You could a year from now say, Dr. Una, guess what? You were right. I did it. Right? That could be you. Like, why not? Why not? Why not you? And I'd love to help, as always. I live for this stuff. All right? Okay. So EntreMD Business School, let's talk about that. This is my solution to those 6 problems. This is what that is. Okay? And I want you to look at the areas of mastery in the business school. One is for you to discover your business. You see how I took this shea butter and unpacked it and showed you that even with this $30 product, you can build a 6-figure business. And that business becomes the foundation for a multiple 6-figure business and for a 7-figure business. You can do it. You discover your business because we're all walking around with it. And it doesn't mean come out of clinical medicine, right? That's not the aim here. You may love the ICU and you never want to get out of there, but you have this creative outlet and you can monetize that stuff so you have multiple streams of income, right? Master your message, because if you're going to speak to grow your business, you have to be clear on what your message is, who your ideal client is, the problem they have, the pain points they have, the solution you give them. You have to be clear on that. You have to be known for something, right? Then we talk about your platform. And that's where you can dominate, whether that's YouTube, whether that's a podcast, whether, that's Instagram, like lives and all of that kind of stuff, whether you're doing masterclasses, whatever it is. But you have a platform, but you need to know how to do it. If this is not done right, then you have a product that becomes the world's best kept secret. It's there, but nobody knows about it. And so nobody's using it. And there are people who would love your product and are willing to pay for your product, but they don't know you're there. Okay? Then 4 is build your revenue stream, because in the EntreMD Business School world, we believe a business should do 2 things. It should serve a lot of people and it should earn a lot. We are right smack in the middle. That is balance. Okay? So some people say, I don't want to make money. I just want to help people. I'm like, this is not the school for you. Right? This is not the school for you. But if you want to help people and you're also open to receive money, which is the thank you note, like, thank you for helping me, then yeah. Okay. So we help you build your revenue stream and then create systems, right? Because we don't want to build businesses that'll throw us completely out of balance. Of course, in the beginning, you're going to have to do some sweat equity, but you should also be able to build a team. So for instance, March 24th, we have Becky Davis coming in and she's going to be doing a workshop for us, 5 ways you can build a team with little or no money. And I heard her do that presentation. I was like, oh my goodness, like, you need to come into the business school and come and talk to my people, right? So you need to learn how to build. So these are the areas of mastery. And it's simple. And the reason why it's simple is because we want you to get to that 6-figure, multiple 6-figure place comfortably, right? Okay. And these are because sometimes we know what to do, but we can't bring ourselves to do it, right? So these are the support strategies. We have weekly live meetings. Like after this, like 30 minutes from now, I have the weekly live meeting. We have monthly challenges, right? In January, we had the transformation challenge, and it was wild to see the results that, people got. And with the challenge that we did in February, one of our people had 10 new clients in 1 week, just because she did the challenge. So all these things that would make your business grow, those are the challenges we do every month. We bring guests in, just like I talked about, Becky, who's coming in next month. And lots of opportunities for collaboration, because guess what? There are doctors in there who own podcasts. There are doctors in there who run YouTube channels. There are doctors in there who know people who are running conferences. The opportunities for collaboration are almost endless. almost endless. It's just beautiful. And we have small group masterminds where you have 4 to 6 doctors and it come in and everybody holds themselves accountable. A doctor just posted in the group an ebook that she published because she met with her group last week and she made a commitment to them. I will get this done. And literally like an hour ago, she posted like, I got it done. Beautiful. And that's a beautiful lead magnet for her practice. And it's done. Accountability, because we need the support to grow our businesses. Okay. All right. So the bottom line is that it works, right? The EntreMD Business School works. It does. So, I'm going to answer these questions because these are some of the commonest questions I get, but I'm going to have you go to the website. If you're starting or scaling a business, or you have this thing that's just been sitting and you haven't done anything with it, or you're in cruise control in your business, come check us out. Okay. entremd.com/business. But these are the commonest questions I get. How long do I need to be in the school? The recommendation is a year. Okay. And there are many people who are not going to want to leave after a year because it's just a great community. And the objective is not for you to learn a lot of stuff. The objective is for you to stay in momentum. Is for you to stay in momentum. Is for you to keep getting results. Is for you to see new possibilities. That's what it's for. What's the time commitment? So there's a live meeting every week. It runs about an hour. And if you can give 2 to 3 hours for execution, which comes to less than 30 minutes a day, you'll be in a good place. If you're in a place where you can invest more time, then that's even better. Okay. So it works even if you work a job, it works. Okay. Is there any one-on-one coaching? There isn't. Okay. It is a group program. But let me tell you, when I had people do testimonials for their time in the business school, this is what everybody said. The group, the power of the group. I love the group. I love my EBS family. I love the group. There's so much power in the group that I'm confident that you'll do just fine without one-on-one coaching with me in the group. And then I show up most weeks. I'm there live. We would do some laser coaching sessions so you get your questions answered. There's a private Facebook group so you can get your questions answered. Okay, so you are catered to, but there's no one-on-one. Does it help people with my kind of business? Okay. We have people in there who are private practice doctors. We have doctors who are employed, who are just looking to build their physician brand. Actually, we had a doctor in there who, she applied these principles and she was building her own brand. When it came time for her evaluation, she was able to negotiate to have a scribe because they saw how much value that she was bringing, right? We have coaches in there. We have people with product lines, skincare lines, a number of them. Actually, it turns out there's 4 of them, right? We have a doctor who has a non-for-profit. We even have that. And she is working on diversity in urology. She had 39 students go through the match. 30 minorities, all minorities, 39, and 31 of them matched. So wild what her organization was able to do. So she even got called by the American Association of Urologists to come speak and all of that kind of stuff. So whatever kind of business it is, you need marketing to pull it off. If you don't have marketing, it becomes the world's best kept secret. So this works. Okay. All right. So you, my friend, are next. Okay. You're next. We just went through a $30 product and we converted it into a 6-figure business that could easily hit multiple 6 figures and 7 figures because it works. Okay. There are teenagers and 20-year-olds that are pulling these things off. We're doctors. We can do this. We should not be at the mercy of anybody, not any hospital administration, not the times we live in, not COVID, none of that. We need to build our own tables, or we need to make our way to the head of the table, and we need to be there. And if we don't embrace entrepreneurship, this is hard to do. Okay. We need to put ourselves in a position where we can demonstrate our value, right? We can talk about our value. We can dominate platforms with our value. The person with the loudest voice wins. Okay. So we may be great, but if everybody's talking about how great they are and we're quiet, then we're out of luck. Okay. So you're next. I can't wait to celebrate you. And if you're like, I'm ready to start, or I'm not even sure what it is, I'm nervous, but I'm ready. Or if you're like, I've tried and this is not working, come join us in the business school, okay? So entremd.com/business, okay? And someone can type that in the chat for me. That would be great. So you can type in the chat, congratulations to Dr. D. Okay, so this was an actual doctor who reached out, sent me a PM. I was like, this is my business and this is a multiple six-figure business. So go do it. Okay, go do it, go build it. And I would love to hear about it. We can actually come interview you on the EntreMD podcast and you can share how that went. Okay. All right. Excellent.